Good morning, children. Did you all read section 1? Now we go on to section 2. Now this Baro Didi has given orders that all the men should go away from the compartment by night time. And most of them went away. Only 3 men remained. Section 2, only 3 men remained in the compartment. Now what did they say? They sounded extremely apologetic as they told Baro Didi, please let us stay a little longer. So they said, sorry, let us stay for some more time. We have to get down after 2 more stations and there isn't an inch of room anywhere else in the train. So 3 of them stayed back. They said, we are very, very sorry. Apologetic, extremely apologetic means they showed that they told her that they were very sorry, we cannot find any other place now, so let us remain here. After 2 stations we will be getting down. So till that time let us remain here. Baro Didi said, are you quite sure? They said, of course we are. We passed the next station. Baro Didi spread out her own bedding, keeping a pretty little woven cane jewellery box beside her pillow. Then she told me, please keep an eye on my things while I go and wash my hands. Now Baro Didi was getting ready to sleep. So she spread out her bed there and always she had one cane jewellery box with her, you remember? Yes, she kept that near her pillow. And she told Chotan, please look after my things till I go and wash my hands. We passed the second station before Baro Didi was back from the toilet. So you remember those 3 men had told her that after 2 stations they will get down. But before she came back from the toilet, the second station also passed by and these men did not go down. She returned and sat down in her place. Then she said in a stern voice, hey you, what do you mean by remaining here? Why didn't you get down? So she said in a very angry voice, stern voice means in a very angry voice, she said, why are you remaining here? Why didn't you get down at the station? The 3 men stood up. Were they the dacoits then? My sister-in-law exclaimed. So in between, sister-in-law is asking her, oh, were these 3 men the robbers then? Kuku Didi said, Baudi, please don't interrupt. Let Chotan tell her story. Baudi means what? In Bangla, it is sister-in-law, meaning is sister-in-law. So please don't interrupt, please don't talk in between. Let Chotan continue her story. My sister said, yes indeed, they were the dacoits. So these 3 men were actually the robbers. They stood up and said, we don't get down at stations. We are used to jumping down from the moving trains. But before we do that, hand over whatever valuables you have, all of you. So what did they do? They told her, we don't get down at station. We only jump down from the running train. And before we jump down, we want you to hand over all gold, jewellery or money, whatever you have, give it to us. That is what they told the women. The 3 dacoits pointed their pistol and dagger at us. Pistol is a small gun and dagger is a small knife with a big handle used for stabbing. All the girls started crying and screaming hysterically. Hysterically means uncontrollably. The girls were frightened. They started crying loudly, shouting loudly. My own heart was thudding. Even Chotan's heart was thudding. What is the meaning of thudding? Beating very fast because she was frightened. Then I glanced at Baro Didi. Then I looked. Glanced means I looked at Baro Didi, what she was doing. She merely looked at the 3 men angrily. She was only looking at the 3 men with great anger. Baro Didi turned to me and said, sit still. There is nothing to be afraid of. She told Chotan, you don't get up from there, you sit there only, don't be frightened. Then she whispered something in my ears. She whispered means she told Chotan something in her ears. The other girls handed over all their jewellery and cash. One of the ladies refused to give her necklace, and what did the dacoit do? The bearded dacoit just tore it off her neck. So one lady said, no, I will not give you my gold chain, my necklace. So what did that man do? He pulled it off. So the ladies, the women and the girls, they all gave him their gold and cash. You can see in the picture, the man is standing with a small knife, that is the dagger, and you can see the pistol, the small gun also. Then they came towards us. The one who was obviously the chief said to Baro Didi, look here grandma, better hand over all you have. Now what happened? Now they came towards Chotan and Baro Didi. And when their leader, the chief means their leader, told her, grandma, give me what all you have. Baro Didi said, I am not your grandma. So the dacoit said, oh well, granny then. Grandma or granny, whatever you like to be called, let me have all your jewellery and fast. Baro Didi turned to me and said in a disgusted voice, how boorish and ill-mannered the present day dacoits are. Boorish means very rude. And ill-mannered means not at all showing any manners. So she is telling Chotan, what these dacoits, these robbers, they have no manners at all. They don't know how to talk to ladies. Fancy pointing a dagger at a lady. Now in the olden days, even the dacoits used to be cultured and soft spoken. We have had dacoits breaking into our house so often, but no one ever tried to scare off women. So she is telling, in the olden days itself, we all had robbers. There were robbers even in the olden days, but most of them were very good mannered. They did not show guns or daggers at women and frighten them. I remember how once Raghu dacoit's son Madhu had broken into our house. What a nice boy he was. He stood before me with folded hands saying, mother dear, and she was starting the story now about a dacoit, about a robber called Raghu, how his son Madhu had entered their house to rob. The three dacoits interrupted her and said, for goodness sake, cut it out. We have no time to listen to your yarns. Show us where your things are. So the three men, the robbers, told her, stop telling your story, cut it out. Cut it out means stop talking now. We have no time to listen to your old stories. Show us where your things are. Baro Didi said, oh well, if you are in a hurry, if you are in such a hurry, wait. Don't you dare touch any of us. All my jewellery is in this cane basket. I will give it to you just now. So she said, don't touch any one of us. What you want, I will give you. It is in my cane basket. Now, section 3. Baro Didi opened her basket. The three dacoits bent over it eagerly. So as soon as she opened the basket, all the three men, they bent over it to see what was inside. But the moment she took off the lid, a huge cobra lifted its head and hissed ferociously. So what happened now? As soon as the lid of the basket was opened, a big cobra lifted his head and started hissing. You know the sound made by the cobras? Yes, very dangerous it is, very poisonous snake. I suppose it was a toy snake made of spring, we all said together. So Chotan's family said, it must be a toy snake, not at all a live snake. My sister said, of course not. You only see toy snakes in films. This was a real big live cobra with an enormous head. So Chotan said, this was not a toy snake, it was a big, real big live cobra, and it had a very big head. The three dacoits screamed and took a few steps backwards. The cobra looked at them and swayed dangerously. So now these three robbers, they were frightened and they took a step backwards. The cobra was swaying, looking at them and swaying, swaying, moving its head from side to side. Baro Didi opened her handbag and took out a small flute. Can you see in the picture on page 71, children? She is trying to play the flute. The moment she blew into it, the snake slithered out of the basket and made a beeline for the dacoits. So the moment she started blowing into the flute, the snake came out of the basket and went right towards the robber. It coiled itself round the robber's leg. The dacoits were so stunned that for a moment they could not decide what to do. Before the leader could speak, the snake entwined itself around one of its legs and held its hood right over him, ready to strike any moment. In the picture you can see it is curling or it is coiling around his leg with its hood standing up, ready to strike. Baro Didi said, "If I blow into the whistle once more, the snake is going to strike. Shall I?" So she said, if I blow the flute once more, now what will the cobra do? It will strike the man's leg. The dacoits, thoroughly unnerved by this unexpected turn of events, burst into a volley of howls crying, "Save us, take pity on us." Unnerved means frightened. Baro Didi said, "But I feel a real strong urge to blow into the flute, really play it. What shall I do about that?" She said, I think it is best that I play the flute once more, so that what will happen? The cobra will come and bite you all. The three dacoits threw down all the money and the jewellery which they had taken on the floor and said, "We'll rub our noses on the floor of the compartment if you like. We are very, very sorry. Yes, we will hand over all what we got. We will give it to you now and we will go away. Please don't make the snake bite us." Baro Didi then spoke to the snake in a caressing voice and said, "Cobra darling, leave the wretched man and come to me, will you?" So she told the cobra, "Please come back to me. Leave those men away." The cobra really listened to her words. It let go of the man's legs and stood coiled up in a corner. Baro Didi said, "I also have a viper here. I haven't taken it out as yet. Viper is also a kind of a poisonous snake. That one has a bit of temper, you see. With the entire country packed with folks like you, well, I always make it a point to carry my tame snakes with me." So she said, "Whenever I travel to any place, I always carry this cane basket with me because always there are robbers. So these snakes, they protect me from danger." Baro Didi really made the three of them rub their noses on the floor, and as soon as the train slowed down, they jumped from the running train and took to their heels real fast. Took to their heels means they ran away quickly. But funnily enough, all the other ladies also dashed out of the compartment at the very next station. They thanked Baro Didi for saving their money and their jewellery, but refused point blank to travel with two live snakes. So of course the two of us slept comfortably all night. Baro Didi told me all about the techniques of taming snakes. A tame snake is even more obedient than a pet dog. It is written by Sunil Gangopadhyaya. So what happened? The other women also in the compartment, they too ran away because they did not want to stay with the snake in their compartment. So our lesson is over. Read well, children. Thank you.